your friends. Before you, members of the commission, these are your friends from the media. They have come to get an update of what has been happening at the commission and what is in plan today and going forward. Members of the press, you're welcome. And I don't want to take a long time. Next to me here, on my left, is Miss Brenda Nachiliowa. Miss Brenda Nachiliowa is our sign language interpreter for the benefit of our people that understand and follow this language. Lord Chair, I take this opportunity to invite you to address the press. Let's have a prayer. Let's have a prayer. Who knows Ivan? Ivan Tayari TV, come and pray for this meeting. And somebody from the Muslim faith, you are ready? Yes.
Reka twehombeke tushabe omwizina lya patiri n'ery'omwana n'ery'omwoyo amina ayiruhanga omwijuru ntwija omumaisho gawe k'abaana bawe tukungira izooba eri ebiraganiirweho ebirasindikye omu ihanga abantu babihurire gye kandi babitware bikuru munonga kandi twongera tukwasa obwebembezi bwa electoral commission okushanga twahayo obwebembezi burungi omberabe nibigenda omu maisho omu karuuru k'2026 nitwendera nitushaba eshara y'oburujungu erikugamba our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name.
Lead us to
Amen. Omuyapatiri n'ery'omwana ly'omwoyo wikirire amina. Akakuka akajya karaba omu ishengyero because nangenda kumanya eshara nimukimanya.
Thank you very much, Ivan, that he was testing whether the members of the press know the prayer, God's prayer, and they have prayed it. From the Muslim faith, please. Somebody from the Muslim faith. Oh, Richard, who? You surely have somebody, I know.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Izina tofauti. Commencement TV. Wapasa senyo. Akhirul ihsan. A'udhu billahi minasyaitonir rajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Allahumma anta salam wa minka salam. Tabarakta ya dzal jalali wal ikram. Allahumma la mani'a lima a'taita lima mana'ta wa la radda dzal jaddi minkal jaddi wa la hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. ربي زدني علم وارزقنا فهم وتوفني مسلم والحقني بالصالحين. وصل اللهم على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. الحمد لله رب العالمين.
Amen. Amen. Lord Chair, these grounds are now holy. I invite you to, I take this opportunity to invite you to speak to the country through our friends of the media. Thank you.
Esteemed members of the press, good morning, everyone. my privilege to welcome you here, the Deputy Chairperson, Commissioners, Acting Secretary, and colleagues, staff of the Commission. We have invited you here for this press briefing with regard to the commencement of the display exercise of the National Voters Register and the registers of special interest groups. I want to take this opportunity to thank you for responding to our invitation and for the support you have always rendered to the Commission in achieving our electoral milestones so far as the 2025-26 general elections are concerned. Today, the Commission wishes to update you and the country on the nationwide display of the National Voters Registers and the registers for the special interest groups and other matters connected to the implementation of the roadmap for the general elections. In preparation for the said general elections and in accordance with the Section 26 of the Electoral Commission Act, the Electoral Commission has appointed the period of 25th April, which is today, up to the 15th of May as the period for the statutory display of the National Voters Register. Furthermore, as at the commencement of this display exercise, the statistics stand as follows. Number of cities and districts in Uganda, 146. Number of counties, 312. Number of constituencies, 353. Number of sub-counties, towns, or municipal divisions, 2,191. The number of parishes, 10,716. The number of villages, 71,208. Number of polling stations, 38,315. The display of the National Voters Register shall begin at 8 a.m. and end at 6 p.m. on each of the appointed dates, including weekends, at all the polling stations throughout Uganda, except for a few areas where the exercise is delayed or will not commence today due to technical glitches encountered during the production of the voters' registers for those areas. Now, the areas which will not commence or have the commencement of the exercise today include the following, or are the following. Arua City, 2 polling stations. Muikwe, 1 polling station. Buvuma, 1 polling station. Fort Portal City, 3 polling stations. Kampala, 18 polling stations. Kasanda, 2 polling stations. Kikube, 15 polling stations. Kiliandongo, 78 polling stations. Kitagwenda, 1 polling station. Masaka City, 2 polling stations. Mbarara City, 48 polling stations. Mityana District, 370 polling stations. Mpigi, 46 polling stations. Mukono, 32 polling stations. Wakiso, 13 polling stations, all totaling to 620 polling stations, where the display will not begin today be conducted at the date, on the dates to be announced in the future, in the short future. The above polling stations represent 1.6% of the total number of polling stations across the country. As I said, the total number of polling stations is at 8,315. Hence, 98.4% of the polling stations across the country have commenced the display process today. 98.4 have commenced, except the 1.6% of the areas I've enumerated above. The Commission, however, wishes to affirmatively assure all voters and all stakeholders in those areas that they too will be accorded the full statutory 21 days for display of the register when it commences. So when, on the day we shall announce for the commencement of the display in those areas, we shall count the 21 days from the date, from the adjusted date, or from the commencement date in those areas. So I want to assure all the voters and the stakeholders in those areas, they are not being left out of the display exercise, because this is mandatory and it is their right to have it. The Commission therefore wishes to apologize for the inconveniences occasioned to our stakeholders, and we are taking all necessary steps to ensure that the display in those areas is also undertaken as soon as possible. The Commission has also appointed the period 25th April, which is today, to 8th May, as the period for the display of the voters' registers for the special interest groups at village level. For the National Voters Register, which I've mentioned, which is starting today, ending on 15th, the display is at a polling station. But for the special interest groups, their registers will be displayed at village level. And the special interest groups comprise the youth, persons with disability, and the older persons. The purpose of this display exercise is the following. 1, to enable voters check for the correctness of their particulars on the voters register. 2, for the voters to confirm that their correct photographs appear against their names or particulars on the register. 3, if there is anyone who has an objection to the inclusion or appearance of any person on the register, then that person should raise that objection at that display center. And the grounds for objection are the following. 1, that this person is now dead, but he is still or she is still on the register. Let him or her be removed, because we buried him or her the other day. He's dead, should be removed. Then 2, those who are under 18 years of age, the voters or the people, the citizens can go and say, no, but this person is a child of so and so, and I know he or she is below 18 years of age. Why, and yet the voting age is 18 years, the person should be removed. 3, they can also raise an objection that this person no longer resides in this parish or does not originate from our parish. So why are they in this register? They do not, this person does not reside or originate from this parish. Then 4, if a vote appears more than once on the register, then that person should also be recommended for removal. So these are the 4 categories that people are supposed to recommend for removal from the voters register. So the exercise, therefore, is meant to ensure that we have a clean voters register. During this exercise, the Commission will also display the lists of citizens of voting age. I want you to note this. We shall also be displaying the lists of citizens of voting age who are registered, who are verified and registered as citizens by NIRA during their exercise of continuous registration of citizens. But at the time of registration with the NIRA, they did not indicate their preferred polling stations for purposes of voting. So we shall have that list also of those citizens who originate from those parishes, or who at the time of registration with the NIRA, they indicated their home of residence is in such and such a parish, and we shall therefore put those names on those polling stations to enable those citizens to come and say, yes, I want to vote from this polling station. So we're giving them an opportunity. The list of affected citizens, that is those without polling stations, will be displayed at each parish or ward throughout the period of the display exercise. The list of affected citizens, those who are without polling stations but are confirmed citizens by NIRA, will be displayed at each parish or ward. The affected citizen who may not find his or her name on the register, that is the register being displayed at the polling station established for his or her village of residence, should proceed to check on the list of citizens who have no polling stations that will be displayed at the parish by the parish election officer. So any citizen who may not find his name on the voters register, check on that list. The list will be displayed separately. As I say, you have the register, then the list beside the register. The Commission has also provided an online search for confirmation or selection of a polling station. If a citizen does not find a polling station against his or her name on the citizens list for his or her parish, he or she should search for it online on the EC's web portal, www.ec.or.ug/register. I repeat, www.ec.or.ug.register. If the name is found to exist on the portal but lacks a polling station, he or she will be able to go through a step-by-step process to select the district, constituency, sub-county, and parish or ward in order to specify and assign a polling station to his or a polling station to his or her record. As indicated above, in the case of special interest groups, the display at the village level is scheduled to commence today and conclude on 8th May 2025. This will enable persons comprising the special interest groups. I needed the sun. This will enable persons comprising the special interest groups to check for the correctness of their particulars on their respective special interest group register. In the case of registers for youth, the voters will be able to verify that their date of birth is correct. Remember, under the law, for you to qualify to participate in youth elections, you must be aged 18 years and above, but less than 30 years at the time of cutoff of registration of voters, that is 17th February 2025. You must have been below 30 years by the time we ended the registration of voters on the 25th of February 25. Secondly, in the case of registers for persons with disabilities, the voters will be able to confirm that the particulars of that person, that is the nature of disability, were correctly captured on the voters register. In the case of older persons, the voters will be able to verify that that their date of birth is correct. According to the law, persons who qualify to be considered older persons for purposes of elections must be aged 60 years and above at the time of cutoff of registration of voters. That is, once again, 17th February 2025. So older persons who qualify to participate in elections for older persons are those who are 60 years and above. We want the people to note that any eligible voter who applied for registration but whose particulars are missing on the voters register will also be able to present his or her case for inclusion on the register. If you know you voted in, say, 2021, but when you go to the display center, you check the register, your name is not there. Or if you applied during the recent update exercise to be included on the register or to be registered as a voter, your name is not there. So you can raise the objection or you can raise a complaint to the display officer, and your particulars will be recorded, and we shall verify whether indeed you did apply to be a voter and include you on the register. The parish supplementary display exercise is Now, after the display exercise, the lists of persons recommended for inclusion or deletion or removal, if any, from the National Voters Register shall be displayed for 10 days from 16th May to 26th May at each parish or ward headquarters in the whole country. The purpose of this supplementary display exercise is to enable any person who may have been wrongly removed from the register to raise an objection to the parish or ward tribunal. If someone said you died because you have not been seen in the area for so many years and you should be removed, you go to this tribunal and you say, I'm still alive, don't remove me. The parish ward or tribunal shall consider and make the final decision concerning recommendations for inclusion, deletion, or correction as made by the public. For avoidance of doubt, the parish or ward tribunal is appointed by the magistrate of the area. That is according to the law, and is comprised of 2 elders who are 60 years and above, 1 male and 1 female, and 3 other members appointed in consultation with the political parties and organizations participating in the elections in the area. So it is a 5-member tribunal, 2 elders and 3 other members appointed in consultation with the political parties which are participating in the elections in that area. At the end of the entire exercise, all returns will be retrieved from the field and the recommendations effected by the Electoral Commission. Thereafter, a final voters register to be used on polling for all the elections for the 2025-26 general election will then be produced. The display process is the final leg of ensuring we have a credible voters register before we get to the polling days for the respective elective positions. The general public should also carefully note the following. One, that this is a very important exercise which could determine whether one will vote on polling day or not. So I want to urge all the voters, even if you know you've been on the register, you have been voting 2016, 2011, 2021, it costs you nothing to go and check whether you are still on the register or not. If you don't, it will be too late. Once we issue the final register, it will be too late for us to correct any anomaly regarding your name or your votability. Secondly, fresh applications for registration as a voter or application for transfer to another voting location shall not be accepted during the display exercise. This exercise is not meant to give opportunity to those who may have missed out on the update exercise or for to register as voters or to apply for transfer. That period ended. We are now only verifying and correcting if there are any errors or omissions or commissions on the register and removing those who are not eligible, not to give opportunity for those who are seeking to be registered as voters. Thirdly, persons who have applied and changed their particulars on the National Identification Register, that is with the NIRA. For instance, the names or date of birth are required to notify the Electoral Commission in writing about the changes. Such persons will be required to provide the relevant supporting documents to our display officers so that the changes are effected on the voters register. Another point to be noted is that the display officers shall be physically stationed at each respective polling station throughout the entire display period. This will enable voters to conveniently locate their polling station, especially those which might have been affected during the reorganization exercise of polling stations. Another point to note is that in the case of display of the special interest groups registers, the display officers shall be physically stationed at the display center in each village throughout the entire display period, from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. on each of the appointed dates, including weekends. The registers for special interest groups will be displayed for a much shorter period because the elections for older persons, the youth, and persons with disabilities committees are supposed to be conducted earlier than the others. Those are the ones which are supposed to commence or to start off the process of polling. The display of the voters' registers shall be conducted with the utmost impartiality, and officials of the Commission shall allow any interested member of the public, including agents of political parties, to witness the exercise. The Commission also wishes the public to note that we are conducting an extensive public awareness and mobilization campaign through print, electronic and digital media, as well as other public engagement initiatives to achieve high stakeholder participation in the cleaning of the National Voters Register and registers for special interest groups, beginning with this press conference we are holding now. And all complaints arising from the display exercise of the National Voters Register shall be addressed to the returning officer of the respective electoral district and shall be handled following or in line with Article 61, Clause 1F of the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda and Section 15 of the Electoral Commission Act. As already indicated, the Electoral Commission is implementing the roadmap for the 2025-26 general elections, which include presidential, parliamentary, and local government council elections. Section 16 of the Electoral Commission Act provides for the accreditation of representatives of political parties, civil society organizations, and any other duly registered institutions or any individual to observe the electoral activities. Accordingly, for purposes of transparency, the Electoral Commission will accredit international and national observers to observe the various activities being undertaken during the electoral process. We therefore invite expressions or applications of interest from individuals, duly registered national organizations and institutions who wish to observe the said processes. Interested organizations or institutions or individuals should submit their applications to the office of the chairperson of the Electoral Commission through the online application system accessible at www.ec.or.ug/accreditation in a time to participate in the above activities. Invitations to international and regional bodies or organizations, including diplomatic missions, will be channeled through the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Please note that political parties and organizations participating in the said elections may appoint agents to observe the electoral activities. It is their discretion here. However, applicants should provide evidence in the following. 1, prove that governance is a key aspect of their activities. 2, demonstrate a track record of credibility. 3, demonstrate neutrality in the electoral process. And 4, show the ability to submit timely written observation reports. Organizations and institutions shall be required to prove that their registration status with the respective regulatory authorities is up to date. The Electoral Commission shall provide all those accredited organizations with written clearance, relevant information, and identification tags to observe the various activities of electoral processes. Successful applicants shall be required to do the following: abide by the laws of Uganda, comply with the election observer guidelines and code of conduct to be issued by the Electoral Commission. In the case of organizations and institutions, they should provide the Commission with the names of the individuals, the names and I think photographs of the passport photos of the individuals to be accredited. They should be able to meet all the operational expenses, and they should submit a report at the end of the activity. Interested organizations and institutions and individuals should submit their applications to the Commission in time so as to participate in the activities as indicated in the roadmap, which can be viewed and downloaded. The roadmap can be viewed at www.ec.or.ug. In conclusion, a clean voters register is a cornerstone for conducting peaceful, free, and fair, credible elections. The display exercise gives the electorate an opportunity to participate in the cleaning of the National Voters Register. The Commission, therefore, wishes to call on all stakeholders in the electoral process to participate in this exercise. Voters are particularly urged to report or to go to their respective polling stations during this period and check for the correctness of their particulars on the register. Thank you for listening to me. For God and my country.
Thank you very much, Chairperson of the Electoral Commission. Now, the Chairperson, the members will take some questions focused on the press conference from you. Focused on the subject of the press conference from you. You say your name, the media house you work for, and go straight to the point of the question. this press conference is being covered live on our platforms on YouTube. So those who may be watching from and want to follow can follow this. They can also go back and check. Derek, give to Derek. Yes, let's start with Henry. Henry, your name and the media also. Henry, you have not switched on.
Thank you very much, sir. Radio. I had many questions, but specific to this issue, I have not heard the issue of women in special interest groups. What happened? Secondly, sir, you have mentioned areas that will not display. What went wrong? Thank you.
Thank you, Lord Chair. My name is Derek Wandera from Daily Monitor. Well, a little connected to that, you weren't quite succinct on the issue as to why the 620 polling stations won't have the activity Saturday. So we'd like that to be a little bit more elaborate. Also, in the past, there have been issues of delay and complaints from various political parties about the arrival and the activeness of the officials at the different polling stations carrying out such activities. I hope this is something that you put into consideration and there will not be need for an extension arising from pressures from different political parties and different political players. Thank you.
Thanks, your Lord Chair. I'm Ron Mayanja, work for Prime Radio. Yesterday we saw His Excellency the President of Uganda in Toro District, and he gave orders to divide that district into 3 more districts. He talked of 146 districts, but within like a month, we're going to see more 3 districts. What is their fate in terms of this roadmap? Thanks.
Thank you very much. My name is Abuta Philip. I work with CTV. My question is slightly, I think they are all the same, related to the having clean voters registration. Of recent, we saw in a Daily Monitor publication that political parties had the numbers of their members which were really beyond the population of Uganda, including children and even those who are below 18 years. NRM claims that they have 20 million members. NUP claims they have 10. FDC claims they have 10, and the other parties all together, I think they have 50 million members. So as the National Electoral Commission does such kind of, I don't know, claims, do they worry you? Thank you very much.
Yes, Adam.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Ramzan Ure from NBS TV. From the exercise that was conducted, how many voters were registered? From the exercise that happened, how many voters were registered in the register? For now, what can you say are the number of people that we expect to verify their names in the National Voters Register? 2, you have made several changes along the way in the roadmap. How does this affect the entire exercise that is forthcoming? Because nearly every exercise is pushed every exercise is pushed by a week or two, eventually 2 or 3 months end up being eaten in pushing exercise. How does the EC consolidate that time? But also, the issue of the new districts that are coming up. How is EC preparing to handle these districts? From Tororo, the president promised people districts.
Lord Chair, I think you can take this. You may take this, and we'll take another round.
Thank you, members of the press, for those questions. Now, areas not on display, as I explained in my statement, that there were technical issues that emerged during the production of the registers. It's one national voters register. However, since the display is at every polling station, we therefore desegregate the voter data per polling station and produce a register for a particular polling station. The voters you'll find in the register at that polling stations are the ones who indicated that this is their polling station. So it's not the register for the entire country that you find at a polling station, no. So in the production of these segregated voter data registers, there were some technical issues that resulted in some of them not being produced for these number of polling stations I've indicated or pointed out in my statement. However, I want to dissuade the notion that may begin to develop in people's minds that it was deliberate. No, it was not deliberate. I want to assure the people of Uganda that the affected polling stations were not deliberately left out for commencement of display today. The technical glitch that brought about this development is being addressed, and it is in our desire, urgent desire, that is the matter is sorted out, such that these registers can also be taken to the respective polling stations to allow the voters in those areas to take part in the display process and check for the correctness of their particulars. So there was nothing sinister, that's all I want to say. Now, the late arrival of officials who are supposed to work for these exercises, we have alerted our field people, the returning officers, the sub-county and the parish election supervisors or officers, to make sure that the people who are going to be in charge of the display process at the polling stations report in a time, to give the voters sufficient time and opportunity to come and check for and take part in this display exercise. So we are going to again urge our people in the field, direct them actually, that they should ensure that the display officers report in time. On the creation of or the splitting of Tororo into a number of districts, we have also had those press reports. But for us, we don't act on the basis of press reports. We act on the basis of evidence or official communication in the established channels, that this is now the position. And thereafter, that's when we can see how to implement the outcome of this instruction or communication in the context of the ongoing activities of the roadmap for the 2025-26 general elections. So apart from it being a media reported, the requisite communication or correspondence on the matter, and therefore cannot act on the basis of what has been reported widely in the media. When we get that communication, we shall notify the country on the way forward. On the issue of the numbers of members of the various political parties being over and above the total number of citizens in the country, I think that question should be put to the political parties. Are these numbers of you as authentic really or not? But for us, we do not go by on the basis of the numbers of the members of the registered political parties. Ours is a register of citizens of 18 years and above who are willing to participate in the electoral process. The political parties can register people who are not even registered voters. They are their members. But for us, what we're interested in is X or Y or Z a registered voter on the NVR or not. So that's all I can say. For us, we believe that whoever is on the National Voters Register applied to be a voter, and we are not, that's why we are displaying this, the register, to enable all these voters who expressed interest to be voters to come and confirm, yes, my correct name, my correct photograph, my other particulars appear on that National Voters Register. So we are not worried by the claims of the political parties. Philip, they don't worry us at all. You realize that we have not given you the number of voters, because at the moment, the issue of numbers of voters is fluid. It's not definite, it's not static. Incidentally, even after the display exercise, since we have said those who may have applied to be registered as voters, or who voted previously, but for some reason, unknown reason, their names are not on the register, they should be included. Those who died, who are not eligible, should be removed. So you can see the numbers on the register can go up or down, go up or down. So in our thinking, we feel that we should be able to give a definite figure to the country, rather than keep on mixing them up. Today they are like this, tomorrow, today. No, we are waiting after we have completed the entire display exercise. Then we shall give you a display exercise. Then the recommendations to the tribunals have been scrutinized. Then the recommendation to the commission has been made, remove this person, include this person. Then we shall give you the actual figure, the final figure of the standing of the NVR. So that's why we have said, let's not keep mixing up the people. Let us wait. Since this exercise is lasting 21 days or so, about a month, including the other period we shall give to these other 620 polling stations, let's wait when we have concluded, then we shall be able to give you the final figure. Changes, NBS, in our planning, there is that room for a possible change in the program. Because nothing is static, apart from Article 61, Clause 2. That one is static, doesn't change. But for these other activities and programs which are administrative, although they have a statutory aspect on them, we always create some room because in case of some exigencies, and we are requested time as it did during the update when there was justification for adjusting or increasing the number of days on account of the faulty day. We want to believe now, this period, we are praying and hoping we may not have to adjust, apart from the 620 polling stations. Why? Because we are running, time is running out. We are supposed to have, I think, the first round of these elections for the special interest groups around June. So that's why we are hoping that this matter will be concluded in time. Now, for those 98% begin today, we want to appeal to the voters and stakeholders, please go and check on your particulars. Go and check on your particulars. We will not be able to extend the time for display of the register in those polling stations constituting 98.4% polling stations whose registers are ready and have been dispatched to those polling stations. Now for the 620, as I said, we are working around the clock to ensure that this display begins as soon as possible. And when we set the period also, we don't anticipate to extend that period. But I want to assure you that our programs are still on course. They are not affected or impacted by these adjustments we have been making. And we believe that the people and the stakeholders working hand in hand with the Electoral Commission, we shall be able to pull off this last act on ensuring that we have a credible voters register. I thank you.
Any more? Yeah. Jen?
Women councils are being reminded by my colleagues. I think it was just when I was in. Now on the, I think you asked about the elections for women councils? Yes. Did you ask? Oh yeah, okay. Fine, now on the elections for administrative units, that is LOC1, LOC2, and women councils or committees elections, we informed the country, I think previously, or when we appeared before the Committee of Parliament, that I think government took a position that these elections should take place in 2026 after the general elections in Article 61, Clause 2. We accordingly presented a budget for those elections, combined elections, which will take place, or are supposed to take place in the financial 2025-2026. We hope that the funds will be availed, we've been assured funds will be availed in the budget for the next financial year. When we have gotten the funds, then we shall be able to inform the country on the program regarding those elections. But they will not take place in the same period of the general elections under Article 61, Clause 2. We shall first conclude those general elections, then thereafter we arrange for or organize the elections for LOC1, LOC2, as well as women councils and committees. Uganda. Basebo ne banyabo tubaniriza ku ntiiko y'akakiiko k'ebyokulonda era twagala kwebaza b'amawulire olw'enkolagana ennungi egimulina naffe ng'abakiiko. Olwaleero olukuŋŋaana luno twabayise okutegeeza eggwanga biki ebigenda mu maaso mu puroguramu oba mu nteekateeka yaffe okulonda kwa bonna mu mwaka 2025-2026 nga bwe tuzze tulambika oba tutegeeza eggwanga. Ebyo twalambika mu puroguramu ebisookerwako twamaze obikola okutereeza enkalala oba ebifo bironderwamu, okutereeza enkalala z'abalonzi oba okuwandiisa abo bonna abaagala okwenyigira mu kulonda, abaagala okukyusa ebifo bironderwamu, byonna twabimaze. Kati okutandika olunaku lwaleero okutuukira ddala nga ennaku 15 omwezi gw'okutaano, commission etaddewo etandise okulambika oba okulaga registers mu bifo ebironderwamu ebya Uganda oba emyanya gironderwamu oba polling stations eza Uganda yonna okuggyako polling stations 62 okulambika okulaga register okutimba register eyo tegenda kubeera mu bifo bino okutandika olwaleero. Arua City ziri polling stations 2 zokka ezitagenda okutimbibwako polling station register. Buikwe polling station emu, Buvuma emu, Potro City ziri 3, Kampala 18, Kasanda ziri 2, Kipuwe 15, Kiryandongo ziri 78, Kitagwenda eriemu, Masaka City ziri 2, Mbarara City ziri 48, Mityana 37, Mpigi 46, Mukono 32, Wakiso 13. Polling station ezo kwati kusinziira ku polling stations zetulina kati mu ggwanga eziwera emitwala 3,815 the polling stations zetulina kati mu ggwanga emitwala 3,815 ezigeraganya obutundu 98 n'obutikitiki 4 ezo zo polling stations zigenda kugulwawo olwaleero okutimba registers. Naye ziri 62 zenkanankana na akatundu kamu mu point obutikitiki 6 ku 100 ku polling stations zonna wotagenda okubeerawo okutimba enkalala z'abalonzi okutandika olwaleero. Twagala okukakasa abalonzi bonna n'abakwatibwako bonna ba stakeholders mu bitundu ebyo nti bwe twali tukola oba tufulumya registers zino za buli polling station, ebyuma byaffe byafunamu okukyankalana ne bitafulumya gundi registers za polling station zino 62. Naye tuli mu kaweefube okulaba nti tulongoosa ebyuma ebyo, tulabe nti registers nazo zifulumiziddwa, tuzitwale mu polling station ezo nabo benyigire mu enkola eno oba programu eno y'okutimba polling stations. Bwe tunaatandika programu eyo oba tunaatandika okutimba registers mu bifo ebyo, nabo tugenda bawa ennaku 21 tetugenda kugamba nti bwe tutandise ennaku nga okutimba kwatandika wiiki ewedde katuze ennaku 7 ziweddewo n'olwekyo musigaziza ennaku 14 nedda tugenda obaweera ddala ebiseera ebituufu ng'amateeka bwe gatulagira n'abantu abasobola okufuna omwagaanya oba opportunity okulaba nti batunula mu nkala z'abalonzi zino okukakasa nti amanya gaabwe gali. Ekigendererwa ekyokutimba enkala zino okusobozesa abalonzi bonna abeewandisa okulondera mu bifo ebyo okugenda mu myanya gino mu bifo bino we tugenda okutimba register zino okukakasa nti ddala amanya gaabwe n'ebifaananyi byabwe webiri ate amanya bagawandiika bulungi tegalimu ensobi. N'ekirala wabaawo amanyi nti omuntu ono tasaana kubeera mu regisita yaffe kuba yafa oba si Munnayuganda oba si mulonzi oba akyali mwana muto tanaweza myaka 18. Kano ke kaseera okulaga obutali bumativu ku bantu abo era tulina foomu oba olupapula lwe tutadde ku buli kifo bwagenda kuteeka amannya ago n'ensonga lwaki ogamba erinnya lya gundi lisazibwemu oba ligibwemu mu regisita. Kati ekyo kinaaba kiwedde amannya ago tugenda gatwala eri tribunal, parish tribunal oba kakiiko akagenda kuteekebwako ku buli muluka. Akakiiko ako kali mu mateeka ate abakabeerako bali 5. Omulamuzi w'ekitundu yaweebwa obuyinza mu mateeka okulonda baani banaabeera ku kakiiko ako. N'amateeka galambika nti abantu 2 ku kakiiko balina okubeera abantu bakulu ab'emyaka 60 n'okweyongera waggulu, omu nga mwami omu nga mukyala oba mukazi. Abamemba 3 abalala bajja kubeera abantu ababeera mu bibiina by'obufuzi ebibiina by'obufuzi ebyenyigidde mu kulonda mu kitundu ekyo, kubanga oyinza okusanga nti ebibiina by'obufuzi biyinza obutabeera byenyigidde mu kulonda mu buli disitulikiti yonna, naye ebibiina by'obufuzi ebigenda kubeera ebigenda kwenyigira mu kulonda mu buli disitulikiti yonna baweebwa ebifo 3. Ebibiina by'obufuzi biweebwa ebifo 3. N'olwekyo omulamuzi w'abalonda abantu abo alina okukolaganya wamu n'ebibiina by'obufuzi bakkaanye ku mannya ag'abantu 3 abagenda okwegatta ku bali abakulu ku kakiiko ako. Ekigendererwa nti akakiiko kano oba katebe kano ak'omuluka ke katunula mu mpapula oba okwemulugunya okuba kuvudde mu polling station nga kugamba nti gundi agibwemu mu register oba gundi taliimu, ke katunula mu nsonga ezo ne kalyoka ne kakakasa oba ne katakakasa ddala omuntu ono asaziwemu mu register oba nedda. Ekyokubiri, mu biseera bino by'okutimba tujja kuba tutimba n'enkalala z'abalonzi abagenda okwenyigira mu kulonda tuyita special interest groups, be bavubuka abaliko obulemu n'abantu abakulu. Okutimba kwa regisita zino eza abantu bano benjogeddeko nako kutandika olwaleero naye ne kukomekerezeddwa ennaku 8 mwezi gw'okutaano. Kuno kwo kugenda kubeera kutimba kuno kugenda kubeera ku buli kyalo tugenda okutimba n'enkalala z'abalonzi aba special interest groups. Tutaddewo abonna abamanyi okukozesa ebyuma ebya kalimagezi oba emikutu nti bw'obanga oyinza okukakasa nti erinnya lyo bw'obanga oyinza nekira waliwo n'olupapula oluliko amannya ag'Abannayuganda abaweza myaka 18 beewandiisa mu kitongole kya NIRA ne bakakasiddwa nti Bannayuganda, naye tebaalaga wawe bagenda okulondera. Abantu abo tugenda bawa omukisa oba omwagaanya okugenda mu bifo ebyo wanaasanga erinnya lye teriri ku regisita akebere mu lupapula olwo olukamanya ng'Abannayuganda baawandikibwa NIRA naye nga ne batanyonyola oba ne batawaayo polling station gye beetaaga okulondera. Tewaba mwaganya guno okulaga nti njagala kulondera mu polling station eno. Jjukira amateeka gagamba nti polling station gy'olina okulonderako eyo eri mu muluka gy'obeera, okay, oba gy'olina obutuuze oba gy'ozaalwa oba gy'osebuka. Ekigendererwa ekya twagala okutegeeza abantu nti okutimba enkala z'abalonzi kintu kikulu nnyo 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 nnyo, kubanga ekyo ebinaava mu kutimba kuno bye binatusobozesa okufulumya regisita entuufu endangulukufu eri fayino. Regisita eyo egenda kukozesebwa mu kulonda kwa bonna n'okutandika okulonda kwa special groups, okulonda kwa president, okulonda kwa member of parliament, okulonda kwa abakulembeze ba gavumenti z'ebitundu. N'olwekyo guno mukolo mukulu nnyo, puroguramu eno nkulu nnyo, era tukunga abantu, tusaba Abannayuganda bonna abawezeza emyaka 18 abamanyi nti ssemateeka abakkiriza okubeera abalonzi, mugende mukebere amanya gammwe gali oba nedda. Naye twagala obajjukiza nti puroguramu eno oba okutimba nkala z'abalonzi tekitegeeza nti oyo yenna tayagenda kwewandiisa ng'omulonzi oba ayagala kukyusa ekifo gukatuukirizibwa kikola kati. Nedda, ebyo byaggwaawo. Owanga teweewandiisa luli oba teweesaba nti oyagala kukyusa ekifo polling station yo, togenda kikola kati. Ekisi kyekigendererwa. Abo bagala kukyusa oba bakyusa amanya gabwe mu NIRA, kubanga ffe amanya getulina gayinza okuba malala, naye NIRA bw'ola weewandika tewagenze kubanga amateeka kikirizibwa osobola kukyusa amanya go, kikirizibwa bw'oba ogondera emitendera egyetaagisa okutuukiriza ekintu ekyo. Bw'obanga wakyusa amanya go olina otuwandikira n'otukakasiza ddala nti wakyusa, ate ne NIRA nekakasa nti wakikola. Okay? Abantu abagenda okulembera oba okukulira omulimu guno gw'okutimba enkala z'abalonzi, betwandiise display officers, beetaagibwa okubeera ku kifo ekyo ku myanya egyo okuva ssaawa 2 z'okumakya okutuusa ssaawa 12 buli lunaku, ennaku zino 21, ne ku wiikendi bajja kuba bakulanga we bali. Nga bwe ngambye registers ezo z'aba special interest groups ezo zigenda okutimba registers kugenda kutwala ebiseera bitonoko, ko kugenda kukomekerezebwa ennaku 8 omwezi gw'okutaano n'okuva olwaleero. Tujja kuba tutegeeza Abannayuganda bonna nga tweyambisa buli emikutu gy'amawulire, radio, TV, enkungaana z'abannamawulire nga bwe tukoze olwaleero, nga tubategeeza ki ekigenda mu maaso, ate nga tubakunga benyigire mu puroguramu eno. Era bino ebyokwongezaayo ate mutwongezeeyo, nedda ebiseera bituweddeko naffe, kubanga kati okulonda okusooka ku special interest groups kusembedde kugenda kubeera omwezi nga gw'omukaaga. Tetukyalina ebiseera ebyongezaayo, n'ekyo tusaba abo bonna abaagala okwenyigira mu kulonda ku mwaka 2021, please kitwala kaseera katono, genda okakase, genda olinze oba otunulire mu register okakase nti erinnya lyo n'ekifaananyi kyo nga wekiri. Tetugenda kuwongezaayo ebiseera ate ebya display register. Abo bonna beetaaga okwenyigira mu puroguramu eno nga bakalabalaba oba observers, musobola otuwandiikira ne mutulaga ekitongole kyo ky'obaamu, oba oli muntu weewaddeyo oyagala okubeera kwenyigira mu programu eno ng'okalabalaba. Okay, now ku bibuuzo ebimbuuziddwa ngambye nti wetwali tukuba registers za buli polling station, waliwo polling station ezimu ebyuma byaffe byafunamu kukyankalana nebitasobola kufulumya omulimu mutuufu, ate tetwagala kugenda mu polling station nga register erimu ebitulituli oba erimu ensobi nega, netugamba katusooke tutereeze register za polling station zino tusobole okutimba register entuufu. Naye njagala okukiddamu, njagala kakatiriza oba kakasa abantu bonna abakwatibwako mu polling station eyo tetubalese bweru, era nammwe tugenda obategeeza ddi bwe tunaabawa omwanya oba program oba opportunity nammwe ogenda kutunula mu register eyo. Ekyabantu abakola ku emirimu gino okutuuka kikeererezi, twamaze kutegeeza abantu baffe mu field baba district election administrators n'aba sub-county ba parish election officers okulaba nti abantu abagenda okutimba register zino babeera ku kifo ekyo, kubanga abantu balina opportunity oba buyinza bwa kusala okujja saawa emu ku makya oba saawa 3 oba 4 oba 5 oba 12. Nolwekyo omuntu oyo alina okubeerawo saawa zonna okusobola okufuna abantu bano. Ebikwata ku disitulikiti y'e Tororo gyebagamba nti bagitemyetemyemu, ffe ku saawa eno nga kakiiko tetunafuna ekiwandiiko kyonna ekikakasa nti bwe kityo bwe kiri, kujjako tubisome naffe mu mawulire. Ate ffe nga kakiiko tulina okufunira ddala obukakafu nti disitulikiti y'e Tororo ebadde disitulikiti y'e Tororo bagitemyemu ebitundu bwe biti namanya bwe gati. Ekyo ffe tetukimanya okujjako bisoma mawulire. Abantu ebibiina by'obufuzi ebigamba nti birina ba members ate nga bw'obagatta mu basuka mu bungi bw'Abannayuganda, abantu Bannayuganda bwe tulina okusinziira ku ebiwandiiko byafulumiziddwa UBOS. Ffe registers ebibiina by'obufuzi tetuzitambulirako, tetutambulira ku register yaffe gyetuwandi Bannayuganda bwe batutuukirira ne batulaga ebisaanyizo bibakwatako, ne batulaga nti basaanidde okulonda gyetutambulirako. Olwekyo ebibiina bwe biba nga birina abantu bangi nnyo, mubabuuze ekize kitya abantu be mulina nga basinga Bannayuganda bwe bagatta wamu. Ku ssaawa eno tetwandyetaaze okugamba nti abalonzi tulina abenkana lwa nsonga nti register yaffe obungi bw'abalonzi tebunatereera. Kubanga bwenyonyodde tekigendererwa emu ku bigendererwa ku kutimba kw'enkala z'abalonzi. Wayinza okuba beetagisa okusazaamu, wayinza okuba beetaaga okukola ki, okugattamu oba okuteekako. Nolwekyo ne tugamba nti tusaana eggwanga tulitegeeze register yennyini entuufu yeeruwa, erina abalonzi bameka, kubanga enamba gye tulina eyinza okugenda waggulu oba eyinza okukka wansi. Nekyo mugumiikirize bwe tunaamaliza programu eno ya display ne tusobola okukiliininga register bulungi, ne tujjamu abatasaana okubeeramu, ne tuteekamu abaali balekeddwa ebweru mu nsobi, byonna nga tumaze obitereeza eno tutegeeza eggwanga. Nga bwe ngambye bwe ogenda tuwongezayo tusaba Bannayuganda bannange, naffe nga kakiiko tutambulira ku budde, namwe mutambulire mu budde bwe tuba tubawadde. Twewale ebintu byogamba bajja kutuwongezaayo, nedda tugenda kuwongezaayo ebiseera naffe bituddeko. Mwebale nnyo, Mukama b'omukisa.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Chair. I think we have exhausted the questions. We'll take just one last question, Chair. You have a question? Please.
Look at political atmosphere in Uganda. It's lack of both and political parties. So people out there would like to know the criteria used to lobby for referendum. Because when you look at your book, which you published some 26 years ago, referendum is overdue. Government, I may say, government is not tolerant to opposition. Opposition, they have no, I would say, they don't have tolerance from each other. So what is the procedure to lobby for referendum? Because 26 years ago, you say there is a possibility of having movement, political party, or other choices. So try to set the picture. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I think in law there is what we call the Referendum Act. Yes. In law, there is what we call the Referendum and Other Provisions Act, Chapter 180, Laws of Uganda. That act is one which spells out the modalities or the manner in which a referendum can be initiated. It's not at the behest or at the will or the call of the Electoral Commission. So the law spells out the procedure governing the holding of a referendum. So Mr. Kieyune, you advise those Ugandans to look at the Referendum Act, Chapter 180, so that they study it properly, and if they want to initiate a referendum, let them do it in accordance with the law. It's not the Electoral Commission which says we only come in to implement what the provisions of the Referendum Act say, where the necessary procedure or step has been taken in accordance with the law requiring a referendum. I think I've answered it. Chapter 180, Laws of Uganda, Referendum and Other Provisions Act, 2009.